Hey friends! Welcome to the Finish Parade. My name is Tara and this is Wilde Woman Crafts, and I have finally compiled everything around me. I even made a passing attempt at ironing. I'm not gonna say there's no wrinkles and anything, but an attempt was made. So settle in. I do have my whips here as well. So I think we're gonna do the Finish Parade first because I have more of those. I have 25 or 22, depending on how you want to count certain things. And then I have 9 whips. So I guess I'm always super bad about this, but I guess if you're the type to stitch and post on your stories, you know, go ahead and tag me how far you make it during this. I mean, my regular floss tubes are an hour, so I feel like that's what this is gonna run. But we'll see how it goes. So yeah, get your snack, get your drink, and let's go for it. I am so excited, and I'm happy that this year there's not too many gifts. I have most of these things with me, which is nice. So I'm gonna be referring to notes a lot. I have the full list here. But yeah, let's not stall anymore. We got plenty to do. So my first finish of 2022 is not with me. But it was my New Year, New Start. It was started on January 1st. I'll have it, happening here. It was started on January 1st and finished on January 4th. It was a pretty quick stitch. And this pattern is called, please enjoy the French, Ceci n'est pas un warp peep. If you're familiar with the art that this is based off of, this is kind of a play on a famous piece of work. And the text on the bottom says Ceci n'est pas un peep, which is what the original work says, but obviously this is kind of a play on Mario. So this was designed by SonovaStitch, and this was a gift to my partner, so it lives in his office, but I just framed it in a frame from Joann's, I think is where I ended up finding it. And yeah, that was the first one. So then I had finally gotten my hands, in the beginning of 2022, I finally got my hands on the Autumn in Stars Hollow pattern. I didn't know about the box when the Autumn in Stars Hollow box was on sale. I'm gonna try not to spoil the other side here. And so I got it in early January. And so this was when I was finally able to work on it. And that was a start on January 10th and a finish on January 30th. And this technically counts, I believe, as my first full coverage. It's like a 95 by 95 square. But yeah, if you're familiar with the Gilmore Girls franchise and you haven't come across this stitch before, there's a lot of little Easter eggs, I guess, in there. We have Copper Boom, we have Kirk and Cat Kirk, we have Harvard and Yale banners, Rory's Chilton skirt, the Luke smug, the cornstarch, which it took me rewatching the show to catch that, but when Dean and Rory share their first kiss, it's in Dosey's Market, and she runs out of the store and like grabs and shoplifts cornstarch basically. And yeah, we have Dosey's Market there in the building, and then we have I Will Follow. So again, if you're not familiar with this is going to be a band sampler. There's another piece on the back, but you have to wait for that. So that was my my second finish of January, just barely. And I had to wait until Summer in Stars Hollow came out because I ordered the box, and we have Spring in Stars Hollow coming up. So I'm excited to get that piece back out. So you'll see the other half in a moment. So in the meantime, since it was still January, sorry, let me say fabrics. Getting ahead of myself. The SonovaStitch pattern was on 14 count fiddler's cloth that I think I just purchased in either Michael's or Joann's. And Autumn in Stars Hollow is on 32 count white Lugana from Zweigart, just very basic, that I bought from 123 Stitch. Because it's full coverage. I wasn't really too concerned about it being very fancy fabric. And I guess I will say, I'm not going to go like deep in the threads on all of these, but all of the, on this one I used all of the called for DMC, and all of the background, I swapped the called for Forbidden Fiber flosses, because Forbidden Fiber put out a conversion pack and I bought that. So the background is not technically called for, but I really like it. Okay, now that we're back on track, finish number 3 was started on January 30th, right after Autumn and Stars Hollow, and was finished on February 2nd. And this is Bendy Stitchy Designs Odd World. I had purchased this entire situation, journal and all, as a kit when Michelle did a collaboration with Twisted Rabbit Creations, I believe is the journal maker. And so they provided, you had some choices of fabric and floss, whether you wanted cottons or silks, but this is the Fiberlicious colorway. They're cottons, and then I stitched this on the 36 count linen, also from Fiberlicious, in the colorway Cafe Misto. The kit did come with a lace. I swapped it for a different, it came with trim. I swapped it for a different trim that I had, but the trims that they provided were white as well. So it's got a similar look, and I finished it on the journal. I've not put anything in this journal, and largely that is because I have not stitched really much of anything that would go in here that is of appropriate size. I know Michelle is a big fan of putting like her quirky Quakers in here. So yeah, I've already started sort of like junk collecting for when I do work on this, but right now I really don't have much to go in there. But as you'll see in the next finish, I did make an attempt. An attempt was made to have something in here. I just haven't put this in. So this one's on me. So right after I finished that on February 2nd, I said I need something that'll fit in there because I don't have anything that'll fit. And I stitched up this little burb. So this is Dee's New Hat by Lindy Stitches, and this was a freebie in order. Sometimes Lindy Stitches sends out, I think she calls them like Lindy minis or something like that. There's little postcards that come with your order, and this came in that. And this fabric was cut off from something else I worked on in 2020, and this is Bestitch Me, let's see, Opal, 28 count Opal Lugana in Sky. So let's see, you can get some of that shimmer in there. So this one is appropriately sized to go in the journal. So this one's definitely on me, and I thought it would be cute at the time to like have this commemorate my Bird Crush Club experience, which I still think is a good idea. I just need to get it together. But yeah, so this is just a little strip I cut from the end of a fat quarter. So there we go. That one was that. Then we're gonna get really comfortable with these next 3 pieces of fabric. So then I finally started on my Bird Crush Club journey. And if you've seen me show these before, the Bird Crush Club from Lindy Stitches was charted on on a number of different fabrics. There were some repeats, but I would say across the 12 birds, there was maybe 8 or 9 different fabrics used. And that kind of stressed me out. So before and this is part of why it took me until March to till February, it looks like, to first start these. I didn't know what I wanted to do with fabric, and so I ended up picking three fabrics that I was going to stitch all the birds on. So you'll see where I am so far. So the first piece of fabric I picked out was the called for this bird, and it was used later, so I'm excited to put some more on here. But this is the Stellar's J. This was the January bird, again by Lindy Stitches, the first in the Bird Crush Club. And this one was started on February 23rd and finished March 16th. So in each of these, they're all the called for DMC, and then in the club you got one Threadworks each month with the pattern that was called for in that pattern. So I'll just point them out because I think it's fun. So in this pattern, the Threadworks is in the pine leaves there. It's that nice green. Very cool backstitch on this one. So that was that one. And then this is, I think, maybe the only other stitch that I don't have with me. So this is the one that you can either put my tally at 22 or 25 depending on how you rank these, but I stitched 3 LaCroix cans, which I unfortunately have not a finished picture of these. I know why. I mean, basically around this time from March 6th, and I don't even have official start and end dates on all of these. I forgot the fabric on the bird. I'll tell you the next time we come around to that fabric. I don't have individual start and finish dates on each of these because in mid-April I had surgery on my foot, and I think there was just a lot going on in that time. I was really anxious. I've been very blessed and not needed surgery before, or not needed surgery since I was like really young and had my tonsils out. So I had a lot of anxiety going into that. And so stitching just kind of fell by the wayside a bit. So between March 16th and April 18th, I stitched the 3 of these. So I bought these as a pack from the Stranded Stitch on Etsy. I stitched them on 14 count Aida, I believe. I think this is just, or no, it's 16 count white Aida from a box store. I'm not sure which one. Just regular old Charles Craft, whatever. And I stitched these in the, let me see, I have them written, the berry, the Cranraspberry, and the mango colorway. And I'm even sadder that I don't have a picture of what I ended up writing on these. So a friend and I thought it would be really funny to, you know, kind of make a play on the live, laugh, love. So I think they say la, like L-A, la-iv, la-av, la-of. Maybe I'll put the text up so it makes sense. And I gave those away to a friend. So they are with her, and I ended up getting just 3 small black frames, and they hang together. So those were really fun. Those are really fun, and a nice distraction in that time. So yeah, either, you know, if you're keeping count, that would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those would be 6, 7, and 8, or just 6. I'm counting them as individual. They're on different pieces. But anyway, moving right along, then I returned to my Bird Crush Club. So next I picked up the February bird. Fold these, keep the suspense. On my second piece of fabric. So this is these are black-bellied whistling ducks. And these were stitched on 32 count, good thing I have this up here, linen in Sea Spray from Seraphim Fabrics. Sea Spray, yes, the blue. Very adorable. So on these ones, the Threadworks were in the chest here. That nice stripey look, little variegated look. These are very cute. I love this fabric. I love all these fabrics. I'm really happy how that club is coming along. But we have more to go. So that one I started April 19th and finished on May 4th. Again, I was kind of in recovery then, so it was a lot of laying down with my foot up. A lot of laying down with my foot up during that time. But then at that point, once I got that done, I got a bit on a kick. So I proceeded on to the March bird, which I did on my third piece of fabric. So I finished the black-bellied whistling ducks on May 4th, and I started the March bird on May 8th. And this is the broad-billed hummingbird. And this is also a 32 count seraphim linen, but this is in the color Water Spirit. So you can see that I have kind of like a brown and then the blue and then the green, which I think this was the called for this month. And this is another one that I think is called for later. So that worked out really well. Swinging. I love this one. And this one, the threadworks is all in the belly and the chest here. And it was really interesting to stitch because in the pattern notes, Steph said that she specifically didn't work in rows because, as you saw in the black-bellied whistling ducks, that gives it, you know, a little bit more of a striped look if you've ever worked with a variegated floss like that. And she didn't want that, and so this was intentionally stitched very cattywampus. Like the back of that, I'm not gonna unfold it, but the back of this has to look pretty goofy. Maybe we'll take a peek. I'm curious. It doesn't look too bad. See, I'm not one to judge backs, but I do think it's kind of funny. It's just sort of all over the place in there while I was trying to mix up my stitching. So. Fun tidbit there. That's that kind of pretty dappled look comes at a cost with the floss and with your back for sure. Awesome. So that one I finished on May 14th, if I didn't say that. 32 count Water Spirit. We're keeping track. Great. So then I guess I needed a break from the birds, and I decided to get out a piece I had wanted to do for a while. So this is Hands-On Designs, Let's Talk Stitching. And if you own this pattern or if you've seen this pattern, there are actually 3 patterns in the pack. And if this is a series, there's like Let's Talk Quilting, Let's Talk, I don't know what else she's done. There's like Let's Talk Spring. I think there's seasonal ones. And for all of them, there's usually some kind of small, I don't know if they're all universally like the round small design. There's a square design, and then there's a larger kind of 8x11-ish or 8x10 design as well. So this is the middle design. This is the square design. And I used all the called for here, including the fabric. I'm pretty sure the called for, well, I'm not 100% certain, but this fabric is 32 count linen in Slate by Fabrics by Stephanie, which I think is the called for. I don't know. This nearly ended me stitching on. It was such a pain. It took a long time for me to get that first scissors written out because I was skipping and adding, warps and wefts, all kinds of directions. This really was a struggle to get going, but I love the look of it. And at the time when I bought it, which I think was either during like an expo or what's the other one? One of those big cross-stitchy buying events. There was a fabric kit that was sold to make a bag with this as like a panel in the bag. And that is the hope for this year. But for now, it lives on this. And just another fun fact, I put linen here because if you have not gathered, I'm a primarily linen stitcher at this point. But there is charting for Aida as well, if that's a barrier to your interest in this design. It's charted a way for you to stitch Aida. You don't have to do it yourself. So that one, yes, 32 count Slate, and that one was started May 15th and finished May 24th. Just in time for the Summer in Stars Hollow retreat. So we'll go back to our 32 count Lugana. So here is Summer, and I'll show you the whole thing together, but I gotta keep the suspense, right? Keep you here. So this is Summer in Stars Hollow, and you can see with the other half of the gazebo, the like barbershop singers, Lorelei's Jeep, we got VHS tape, Ice Cream Sundae, Miss Patty's Dance Hall, and then we have To Be With You and half of a guitar. So I think we're gonna have like the whole back phrase of the song when we're done. And once again, it's all called for DMCs except the background. I am committed to my Forbidden Fiber co-packs, so I bought that again this year. Though I will say, I do think on the To Be With You, I ended up holding 2 strands. I held a strand of the, because I think the Forbidden Fiber conversion, this pink and this pink were really, really close to each other. Like, they seemed like they were the same color, except one was cooler and one was warmer. So I ended up holding the DMC substitution with the Forbidden Fiber floss, and that darker pink color is primarily the DMC that you're seeing. So that was just something that happened with that. And then, so for the big reveal of where we are now, I thought if there was a way I could like put these on boards, but I don't own enough boards, and that just seemed like a lot. Okay, hold on, bear with me for one moment. Let's see, here we go. So here are the panels together. So all in all, there will be 4 patterns and they'll go across. So next up, as I mentioned, in April, we will have Spring in Stars Hollow, and that will go to the side of the summer. And then in 2024, we will have Winter in Stars Hollow, and that will be on this side. So my fabric is kind of cutting it close. I've measured it about 1,000 times at this point, I'm sure, and I am certainly at the point where I'm just gonna have to trust. But April cannot come soon enough, because that is when we get the pattern, and you know, first thing I'm gonna be doing is ripping across the top to make sure it fits. But yeah, really loving how this is coming out. I love the way that the gazebo looks on either side, and the yellow daisies, 1,000 yellow daisies, and that cloud, just, ooh, lots of goodness in there. Lots of goodness. And so this one, I started June 22nd. So wow, I went almost a month without starting anything. I started that one June 22nd, which was the first night of the retreat, because I wanted to see how far I could get during the online retreat. And I finished it July 3rd. So cranked that one out pretty fast. During the retreat, I probably was putting in about over 1,000 stitches a day, which is quite a lot for me. I know some of those pros, maybe not, but for me, that was a lot. Okay, moving right along, we are back to a bird, and this one is, gotta figure out which fabric I did it on. Here we go. This was the April bird. So we're back on the Sea Spray linen, and this is the black-throated gray warbler. And for this one, the variegated threadworks is in the branch here, and the branch is up here as well. Really love this one. So cute. Yeah, not a whole lot to say. We got more birds to go, so hang in there. And this one, oh yeah, this one was started. Oh, okay, I had a little bit of overlap. I guess I'm presenting these in the order that they were finished, not necessarily in the order that they were started. So this was my next finish. It was started May 29th and finished July 9th. So that kind of, yeah, fell over some other things I was working on, I guess. So that one, yes, was finished July 9th. And then I kept it going with the birds. So we're back to our first fabric, which now I will reveal to you is 32 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart. Yes. And this, or wait, no, sorry. Hold on. Vintage from Zweigart. Yes. 32 count Lugana. So this is the only Lugana. The other two are linens, but it doesn't bother me. So this is the Lazuli Bunting. I love the colors on this one, and these bright green leaves are where the threadworks are, but I love the colors and the sort of like iridescent sort of look in the back stitching there. This one's great. Love that one. So this one was started, let's see, July 12th and finished on August 14th. I took my sweet time with some of these birds. Moving on to the next bird. We're almost through them, I promise. I think I only have 2 left to show. We're back to the sea spray, and we have my Western Meadowlark. So this one's fun because it's kind of the first one that's depicted on the ground, and that's where they tend to chill. And I've seen this one before, and on this one the threadworks is down here, and I believe in the back of the bird. It's a little hard to tell with the back stitching, but at least it's down here. You can get a good look at what the variegation looks like. So yeah, this one on the 32 count sea spray linen. And this one was started August 15th and finished August 25th. It's probably one of the fastest ones I've done. Nice. Okay, so we got through the Western Meadowlark. Then we started hitting stitch along season for me. I kind of ducked out of them for a bit, and some of them I still am not done, but I'm just remembering when I see this, I was like, there was a lot going on this weekend. So this is Hands-On Designs, the costume party. And this was a stitch along that started on September 1st and ran through, I think we got a pattern piece. It's a really quick one. She released pieces, she released it in 3 or 4 parts, and you got it like every other day. I did not keep up. This took me a month, so I started this September 1st when the stitch along started, but I didn't finish it until October 10th. And a fun stitching memory for me on this one was throughout September, I was traveling for work and kind of going coast to coast. And this was my steadfast companion in the hotel at night when I was watching a lot of Food Network because I don't have cable at home. So that's kind of a fun memory. And I have not, it's almost fully finished. It's mounted on the board. It's got all that, but it needs a little decoration or something. So that's something I will keep an eye out for this year. But for now, it looks great. I love the colors in this. Just love the detail. Love everything about it. If she does another season, you already know I'm in. So this was the costume party. And this was stitched on, now with the birds, I'm like, oh, I don't see the fabric. This was stitched on the called for fabric, which was looking 32 count linen in Silver Mist from Fabrics by Stephanie. Yes, and I used the called for DMC, which is so fun. And the Rick Rack is from Lady Dot Creates. This was all like sold as part of the stitch along. So that was not that you're required to buy it. I just need help finishing, so why not buy the finishing supplies when they offer them? That's the kind of help I need. So yeah, that takes us to October. And in October, I was late to Season of Smalls this year, which is an event put on by Jessie of Mislaid Pages. But luckily, they run it from September through October, thankfully, in combination with the Marathon for Missing Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit fundraising awareness event that's gone on a couple years. So this year, I stitched this Poppy box by Seju as my Season of Smalls entry. So this was a kit that I bought with the box. Again, I love it when all the finishing materials come. And if you hear rattling, I have pins inside. I'm sorry I didn't take them out, but this is a really beautiful one. I used all the kit stuff except I believe I mentioned in my video where I showed this off, the lightest cream color was missing, so I just kind of pulled a DMC that looked like it would work, and I believe it does. I believe it does. And it's kind of a lilac-y fabric. They don't have a specific name for it, but it's kind of a lavender lilac fabric in the back there that goes nicely with the purple box. And so this one was a start and finish in a day on October 5th. So this was what I was stitching on October 5th, the whole day. Okay, moving along. We're deep in when I was actually finishing a lot of stuff, so this is thrilling. So my next finish was One-Eyed Jack from Satsuma Street. This was, again, a kit. So it's kind of my first time working on perforated paper, and putting the beads and sequins on was really fun. So this, yeah, One-Eyed Jack, Satsuma Street. I started it October 17th and finished it October 21st. And I finished it into an ornament and just put some felt on the back, put my initials in the month and year, and then had just a little like trim laying around that I put as a hanger, excuse me. I love that. Had a lot of good Halloween finishing this year. And in that vein, the next piece I finished was a start from the year before. So I think this is the oldest piece that I finished this year, which this was a start on October 14th, 2021. So a year ago. And I finished it November 11th, or November 8th. Sorry, I could read. I'm starting to get cross-eyed. November 8th of 2022. And this is the Meowster Mash Biscornu from Stitchy Pros. I have shown this off before, but just quickly, we have our Franken cat, our vampire cat, our witch cat, and then our werewolf cat. I think we've decided, because it has a full moon and the other ones have a crescent. So werewolf cat or cave cat, whatever you like better. And the backside is just kind of the same motifs without the cats. And I sewed these little coconut shell buttons on. Sewed that together. So very excited to finish this. And this was on, let me go back to the notes here. Oh my goodness. Let's see. This one I have to go up for. This was on 32 count Lugana in Cypress from Fiber on a Whim. So yeah, that is that one. And that is, again, called for DMC we have going on here. Very cute. So that one was done in November. We're all the way to November. So we're getting toward the end. Then my next finish was my last Halloween finish for this year. And this was featured in Just Cross Stitch magazine in 2021. So this is Current Mood by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So we have our 4 little characters here. So we have the happy pumpkin, the afraid pumpkin, the cat, which is his own mood, and then the angry pumpkin. And I used the called for DMCs, but I pulled my own fabric. The model was on a purple, so I did try to stay in that vein. But this is on 28 count Jobelin in the colorway Anemone by Be Stitch Me. And I love this one. Definitely needs to be fully finished this year, but this is a great one. So this one was started October 24th and finished November 21st. Alrighty, put that here. Next up, we have our last bird that I got done this year, and that is the American Avocet, again by Lindy Stitches. And this one's on the Water Spirit linen. And on this one, the threadworks is up in the head, and on the back of the neck on that one, which is held with a different color. It's like a blend, but yeah, I love the little blue legs, very swampy. Very cute. So again, that's only 7 out of 12 on those birds, so we're not done, but we're done for this year. For 2022, we are done. And that one was started August 26th. So I tried to keep going on the bird train, but then between the travel and the Halloween, it did not get done until November 30th. That was probably the longest I had a bird in progress, but so it's kind of funny. Then we turned things over to oh, I just realized I forgot to list one here. Oh wait, no, I just skipped. The bird was not the next one that was done. I don't know what the heck. Okay, sorry. So this one I'm showing is technically the one that I finished after current mood, because I wanted to have an autumnal, sorry, I always sit cross-legged and then I get uncomfortable. This was my autumnal piece after all of the Halloween. So this is, there was bound to be one of those, right? Autumn Colors by Bendy Stitchy Designs. And this was part of the Expo 2020 releases, where they 25 designers got together and they started a sort of group, coalition, team, I'm not sure, called X Stitch the Rainbow, and they are teaming up to sort of pick a limited palette, and then you can just buy those colors, and then you'll know that there will be a number of patterns available at that market, Nashville market. That's the other one I was thinking of. It's Expo and Market. That if you buy one pack of colors, one pack of threads, you will get a lot of use out of them. So this was the Autumn Garden theme, and they've announced that the next one is going to be Tea Time, I believe, using Treenway silks, but these are Cottage Garden threads. So this is all of the called for threads, and then I put this also on a Be Stitch Me. I have it here. This is a 32 count Lugana in the colorway Garden Party. You can see it's kind of greens and oranges in there. But yeah, I really love that. And the pattern says, autumn colors don't just fall, they fly. Love that one. So yes, this one was a start on November 22nd and finished on November 23rd. It was a quick turnaround. And then I had signed up for Lindy Stitches and Company's Jingle Ball, and I signed up for Ink Circle's Swedish Neat Bells class. So that came with a pattern, 6 different patterns actually, and then I bought the supplies to finish all of them. So I stitched one up prior to class, so during the class I could learn the technique to finish them, which I did. So this is one of the 6 Swedish Neat Bells, and this is the candle holder. So the outside is just 310 DMC, and the inside, I believe they're either Classic Colorworks or Color and Cotton. I truly never get those sorted out in my head. I don't know if I have, let me see. Oh yeah, Classic Colorworks. I do have it in my notes, thank goodness. Okay, so Classic Colorworks in the center motif there. And again, this is all provided. And so the linen is 36 count Edinburgh linen. Edinburgh linen. I don't believe I have like a color or a maker on that, but pretty standard linen. So that one I started on November 24th and finished November 27th. Then I finished the Avocet on the 30th, and then we moved into Christmas. Even though the Swedish Neat Bells kind of counted. So my next one second. Okay, so moving into Christmas time, winter time, I finished this next, which is Park Hopper Bart's Winter Welcome. This was the fabric and the floss and the pattern were provided in the Black Needle Society 2021 Nice List box, so I was kind of a year late getting around to this, but it is 2 DMC etoiles, so the white is etoile and the black is etoile, and then the brown, orange, and red are Sullivan's. My first time working with Sullivan's. And the fabric is 32 count linen in Winterberry from Fortnite Fabrics. And as you can see, I'm hoping to use it again, maybe for a different little small. But yeah, I really love that one. It'd be another great one on a board. What can I say? I'm all into the boards thanks to Hands-On Design. So this one, was started on November 30th, picked it right up, and finished on December 2nd. Nice little quick stitch. I was very surprised how quick that one went. Very grateful for how quickly that one went. And then my last finish of the year, I am now thinking to myself that it is not near me. 1 second. Okay. You think you have it all together. So I just showed this off in my floss tube, but my last finish of the year was this Mill Hill. And I think I just totally made up the name of the pattern, but it is the Christmas Tree Globe is what is written on the kit. So this is on 14 count perforated paper, all DMC, I'm assuming, and all the beads and the kit and the charm in the kit and everything. So this will become an ornament as well. And this was started on December 20th and finished on December 31st. I squeaked it in right at the end with all those beads. So yeah, that's the finishes. I'm really happy with what I got accomplished this year. I had a lot of fun. This is sort of I started stitching in the middle of 2020 and just kind of was like working on one piece at a time. And toward the end of 2020, early 2021 is when I discovered floss tube and learned who like all these designers are and figured out about linen. I had only been using Ada. And so I considered 2021 like my first like stitching year, my first full stitching year. And when I started having, you know, more than one project on the go and just exploring how I like to enjoy this craft best, because it's really wonderful, I think, to see how people approach it, what people find the most exciting for them. And anyway, so this year is my like second year of full-time being invested in this craft, and to just like be able to pull from my stash more this year and to get more pieces done. It was really fun, and try a little bit of like the seasonal stitching was fun. I know, again, I just kind of discussed in my last floss tube, but in case you hadn't caught that, or don't want to catch that, that's fine too. I think this year I have so many seasonal things I still want to do that I might be trying to stitch a little bit out of season this year and see how that feels. Give it a try, because turns out the seasons are not long enough for all the seasonal stitching when you have a bunch of other things that you want to be working on. So with that, if you're just here for the Finish Parade, thank you so much for sticking with me. And if you are into the WIP Parade, upgrade to a new list. We're gonna do that. And I guess really quick before you go, my stats, I did want to shout myself out. 1 second. I have this all written down here. So coming into 2022, I had 2 WIPs, which are both still WIPs, so you will see them. I had 2 WIPs from 2021 that carried over into 2022. In 2022, I started 32 new pieces, which again, counting the LaCroix cans is 3, and I finished 25. So that leaves me with 9 works in progress remaining. And as you'll see, I feel like as much as I got done, those are all pretty small pieces relatively. Everything was less than 100 stitches on height and width, with the exception of Current Mood, but Current Mood is only like 55 stitches tall. So even though it's like 144 wide, it wasn't that big either. That one went pretty fast as well. So you'll see the WIPs that I have left over are all the kind of like bigger things that I started in 2022 or had carried over from 2021. So in these ones, I thought we would go from oldest to newest. And I really want to put a lot of work in these, because even just like getting them out to iron them and stuff, like I love all these and I don't want them to languish forever, especially now that I have Art Designs on the go. Okay, so my oldest WIP, you know her, you love her. It is the Twisted Rainbow Sampler. What is there to say? I love it, but also the cross stitch sections really kill me. On this dark fabric, I think the specialty bands actually are nicer to stitch than you might imagine once you figure out the pattern, because they interlock with each other is kind of the best way I can describe it. And you don't really have to look at the pattern once you know what the pattern is, if that makes sense. With those specialty stitches, they just kind of interlock into one another. You don't have to look at a pattern, and you can just kind of be on your way. But with the cross stitch, you really have to focus because it is so striking and it is so symmetrical. So I am using the Dinky Dyes conversion on this, and I am stitching this on, here, let me see, hold on, gotta jump over to the next section here. 28 count black Jobelin that I purchased from 123 Stitch. I had hoped, so when I finish this cross stitch band that I've started, I will be halfway. So my goal for this for the year is to finish it. And this was started June 11th of 2021. So is there hope? I think there's hope. I think it can be done. Sorry, I gotta figure out where I'm putting all this now. Okay, my second oldest WIP, which has a thread attached to it, I apologize, is my Owl Forest Embroidery Dinosaur Forest. I might like toss a pic up in case you haven't come across this before. But this is, yeah, Dinosaur Forest. And this was a birthday start for me in 2021. So this was started on September 4th. And I put a little bit of work into it in 2022. I went from like back here behind the last leg all the way forward. So some progress has been made. I feel more empowered. This is a paper pattern, and some paper patterns don't bug me as much. I worked off a lot of paper patterns in 2022, particularly with like the Bird Crush Club, and working out of like magazines and kits that I got in boxes. So it's not that I can't do paper patterns, but for some reason this one, and like the body of this being so large, it was just really tripping me up. So I finally like took photos of it and put it in Pattern Keeper, and I think it will be a much better time working on it that way. So I'm not going to make any like specific promises on this one, but I do want to see, well, how about this? I'll make my goal for this one that I want to finish that center dino. So what, an Apatosaurus? I want to finish that center dino this year. I can do it. I can do it. So those are the only two carryovers from 2021. The rest were all 2022 starts. So next up we have a start from May 22nd, and this is Must Be Possible. This came in a box, and it is an Agatha Christie quote, and the full text will say, I can't remember how the start of it goes. It's something like, the impossible could not have happened, therefore the impossible must be possible in spite of appearances. There we go. The impossible could not have happened, therefore the impossible must be possible in spite of appearances. And this fabric was part of it, which it's got like glow-in-the-dark blood spatter on it. Very cool, very fun. All of the gold stuff is etoile, and I love this one. I love working on this one as well. Like just picking, I had such a blast last time I picked it up. I've just been kind of in the weeds with other things, so I definitely want to give this some love. Feeling very motivated to get that one back out. My next start, which is ongoing, or my next WIP that I started is my Dark Queen of the Earth, which is behind already. So this started September 1st of 2022, and I started on that day and I kept up with the first 3 sections, but then this over here is December, and then there's more like trees and woodland stuff to the right, and I am behind. Also, give me 1 second. Whoop, sorry there. Phone was trying to die. I am behind. I am behind. I need to catch up. This is December. This is January. This was started on November 9th. Did I just flip those numbers in my head? September 1st. 9/1, not 11/9. 9/1. September 1st is when I started this in 2022. And this is on 32 count linen in Nightshade from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I realized I didn't say the Must Be Possible one, but it is, again, a fabric specific to the box, but it was a Jody fabric, so, and it's a 32 count linen as well. That's the name of the game around here, is 32 count linen. So let me put this here. Then in that same kind of birthday cluster weekend, so that was September 1st, then on September 4th, I decided to start my first Heaven and Earth designs. So I picked Miles Pinckney's The Astronomer. And this is one that I have big goals for this year. So I have started in the top right corner. I'm not going to take this out. And we just have only black at this point. I want to get to 10% on this year is the goal I am putting out into the universe. Whether or not that will happen, we'll see. We'll see. The year is young. Anything is possible. But this one I am stitching 1/1 on 25 count easy grid. Yes. And I chose the regular size max colors. So it is 200 colors. And every time I look at it, I question that decision. But at least for now, I can just hide in working in 310. And that is the plan for now, I think. So that is my next WIP. Then, let's see. Next up was another Halloween start this year, but this was not one that I got done. And this is Life Potion. I'll get this out. Sorry, Life Potion from Forbidden Fiber Co. I bought the Hocus Pocus box, or my sister gifted me the Hocus Pocus box for my birthday. So it has the Life Potion from the Hocus Pocus movie. So it says, bringeth to a full rolling bubble, then add 2 drops of oil and a dead man's toe. Next, add a dab of newt saliva, dash of pox, stir thrice, one final thing, and all is done. Add a piece of thine own tongue. And the letters don't look so bad, but that candle and the cauldron, to be real with you, is huge. But anyway, this was all supplied in the box. I got my cute little, I haven't really been showing off bags. I apologize. But I gotta keep track of everything somewhere. So I have bringeth done. And this is my first dabble into 40 count So this is 40 count linen in the colorway Sanderson. Again, it's Hocus Pocus themed, from Forbidden Fiber. And I'm stitching this 1/2 on 40 count. And I didn't iron this one because that's part of the reason I haven't been showing bags, is because I just have everything laid out. This is going to be a big problem for me shortly. So that was a Halloween start on October 6th. Then let me just reach forward here real quick. My next start was, did I say October? No, October 1st is when I started Life Potion. I cannot read anymore, y'all. October 1st, I started Life Potion, and October 6th, I started Hands-On Designs. Oh no, do I have the cover for this still? Yeah. Witch's Pantry. And I started the Hands Just a Helping. And here that is. So this is on the same slate, 32 count linen and slate from Fabrics by Stephanie we saw earlier. And I'm using all the called for classic color works. Yes. And they offered 2 palettes, so I don't know if you could see. There's like this palette, which is the chalky palette, and then the primitive palette. So I'm doing the chalky palette, and that is where I'm at. This is one that just needs to, I don't care that it's not October anymore. I just need to knock that out. There's no reason to let that languish. It is not big enough to justify it sitting around. It's just not. So I'll put this one back in a bag. So that was, yes, October 6th. And then my last 2 are both Christmas starts. So the first one is Santa's Stamp Collection, which is by Kathryn Landis of the Black Needle Society, and this was a stitch along that they released in conjunction with their 2022 Nice List box. So the first day of the box, we got this fabric, which is 32 count linen in plush from Fortnite Fabrics. And then every day we were emailed, so like day 1, we got all of the text up here that'll say Santa's Stamp Collection, and we got all of the frames, all of the outlines for all the stamps, and we got the fill-in for the first stamp. So then every day it was just fill-in as you went. And as you can see, I did not keep up, but I made a concerted effort. So this is another one that, like, part of me wants to wait until it's Christmas again, but then the other part is like, man, I need to tackle some of these bigger ones at least, and maybe get the top done, because I believe they're considering doing a stitch along with the box this year as well, the 2023 box. So I'm not gonna have time to be catching up on this. So I think the theme is gonna be out of season stitching for me this year. And last but not least, the other one that's like close to done and I just need to do is a Christmas pin pillow. Started on, oh sorry, in Santa's Stamp Collection I started on the 1st of December. And then on the 5th of December I started a Christmas pin pillow because I thought I could work on both at the same time. I could not. And the Dark Queen, which obviously didn't get worked on either. So much to stitch, so little time, so little time. It all just convalesces. Okay, I won't make you wait on that. And I have this still in the hoop as well, because again, just finish it, girl. Just finish it. It's not that much. So this again came from the Nice List box in 2021. I was trying to get through it, and so you get 3 kits in the box. So I finished the Park Hopper Bart, as we saw earlier, if you watched the Finish Parade. I am working on this one, and then the 3rd kit I decided just really wasn't to my taste, and I sent it off to one of you sweet viewers. So I hope you're having fun with that, or you're passing it on to a friend who will enjoy it more. You're of course never obligated to do anything with the stuff that you win. But I hope it brings you joy in whatever way you decide to use it or give it away. So yeah, this is the called for, the kit provided 36 count beige linen from Weeks, and there's 4 colors of Weeks that are the flosses. So yeah, I think I really want to, like I said, kind of finish these 2 that are so close to being finished. And then really start to put some love in those bigger pieces because they're beautiful and I want them. I want them done. Yay! So that is it. That is everything. I've seen people do kit parades, but truthfully, I don't even feel like I have enough worth showing, and it's a mess. I have them kind of cataloged in my little Excel as like whether things are fully kitted, where maybe I have like a fabric in mind, or like I have some flosses in mind, but not the so it's like, do you show things that are partially kitted versus fully kitted? I don't know. I'm gonna just stay out of that game this year, but those are what I touched in 2022. I'm actually trying to think of all of the outstanding WIPs that I have. I worked on Twisted Rainbow and I worked on Dinosaur Forest, which were the only 2 from 2021 that were holdovers. So I touched all of my WIPs this year, and not to mention like started and finished all of those finishes with the exception of 1, which was Meowster Mash, right? So that is really awesome. I'm proud of myself. Yay. Yay me. I hope that you also take time to appreciate all of the time and effort, even if you don't get finishes, because it's not just about finishes, but I hope you appreciate all the time and effort that you put into this craft, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. Hope you're doing hand stretches. That's a resolution I have for this year, is to try to give my hands some love, maybe a little like warm up time before stitching, maybe a little more stretching. There's videos out there for that. So I encourage you all to do that with me, because we need these guys. We need these guys for stitching, and we got to take care of ourselves. So yeah, if you stitch through this whole thing and you're still here, let me know how it went for you. And the floss tube is up from yesterday, so I guess I will probably see you next month then. Happy January, happy stitching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!